What happens when an arrogant young lawyer laughs at a humble black grandma in court only to discover she was the very woman who helped write the law he was using against her? The courtroom was packed that morning, buzzing with whispers, as a young lawyer in a sharp suit stood tall with overconfidence, written all over his face. Across from him stood an elderly black woman, dressed modestly, her hands calm, her eyes steady, not moved by the arrogance directed at her. The lawyer smirked to his colleagues and said loud enough for others to hear, "This old lady doesn't stand a chance. I'll crush her in 5 minutes." Laughter followed him, but the grandma stayed quiet. When the trial began, he rose with the arrogance of a performer, quoting legal codes and case numbers, raising his voice for dramatic effect. He pointed at her and declared, according to Section 14, "This woman has no legal right to defend herself." Gasps filled the courtroom, but the old woman did not flinch. She simply looked at the judge and asked calmly, "May I respond?" The judge nodded and the room fell silent. She slowly straightened her back, her voice gaining strength as she said, "Section 14? I know that law very well. In fact, I helped draft that law decades ago." A wave of shock swept the courtroom. The lawyer froze in disbelief, the judge leaned forward, and the audience sat wide-eyed. The woman pulled out a worn folder she had carried for years, filled with handwritten notes and original drafts of the legislation. She explained how her words and input had been included in that very section, and how the arrogant lawyer had completely misinterpreted it. The judge carefully read the old drafts, then looked up with authority and said, "She is correct." The lawyer's face turned pale as the truth shattered his confidence. The courtroom erupted in murmurs, some even clapping softly for the elderly woman's wisdom. But just when everyone thought the story had reached its end, the final twist came. The judge revealed that not only had she helped write the law, but she was also once an honored advisor to the very state committee that trained young lawyers like him. The same system that gave him his license to practice was shaped by her dedication years ago. The arrogant lawyer lowered his head, completely humbled. The grandma, with dignity, walked out of the court but turned once to say, "Never underestimate the wisdom of those who came before you. Arrogance builds nothing, but respect builds everything." This powerful story reminds us all to stay humble, honor those who paved the way, and never judge someone by their appearance. If you were moved by this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories.